I'll try to summarize. The truth is, when I was preparing for this session, Sharon had asked me if I wanted to use slides. I started on the slides, and then today I was like, you know what, I'm not going to use any slides. I'm just going to talk because I want to use myself and another person as a case study. But to be honest with you, in secondary school, I was a science and art student. So the sort of school that I went to, in typical Nigerian schools, they'll move you into art, science, and I think there's like commerce. But the school that I went to, it wasn't like that. You would basically just have to pick your subject. So I did biology, I did chemistry, but I also did business studies. I also did history. So I got a good balance. Now, here's the thing. When I was younger, I was really intelligent. So when I went to Grange, so it was a British curriculum school. And when the results came out for IGCSE, I got 7 A's and 1 B. And you know, once you get 7 A's in biology, chemistry, when you mention all of those courses, my dad was pretty much.
You're a doctor.
You know it. You are a doctor. What am I saying? No way. Starting secondary school, when I went for my A levels and I had to pick subject, my mom said, "You cannot get 7. It's not like that. You cannot use your brain for." She convinced me that medicine was for me. She was like, "Can't you see how caring you are?" So I did my A levels in science, and it wasn't me. I wasn't really happy. I finished my A levels, but I didn't get the grades for medicine, right? Let me just be real. And when I didn't get the grades, you know what my mom said? She spoke to her brother that's a doctor and said, don't worry. You can go to, because I was in England, she mentioned some schools in Eastern Europe. That you can go there, they can take your grades. I'm like, no, you know what? Let me just do something else that I want to do, which was psychology. So I went into psychology, which was very interesting at the time. I did an A level in psychology, so I liked it. Now during my second year, again, psychology is a lot of biology. Like even though I passed and I got good grades, I didn't enjoy it. It's not something that was natural or that I was passionate about. So during my second year, at the end of my second year, I became the social secretary for the Afro-Caribbean Society. So it's like a society for Black nationals in UK universities. And I won the election to be social secretary. So I started doing publicity for the society, organizing events. And my friend said to me, you know, you're a PR person, right? You should go and do PR. So that's how I went and I did my master's in PR, and I fell upon, it was my friend, Adenike. She was advising. Like, I didn't even really know what PR was. She just said, you're a brand person. I was like, are you serious? So I checked online. I'm like, okay, I'll do a master's in PR. And that's how I got here, basically.
Wow, that's interesting. Thank you to Adenike. Without Adenike right now, we might not have you here. So we should thank her. That's such an interesting story, such an amazing story. So you've been able to create a niche for yourself, in this industry. So how were you able to leverage skills, into achieving this? Because I know that you've worked for, a lot of multinationals and even agencies. So how were you able to create a niche, for yourself, leveraging on your skills?
So thanks for that question. I think the way I see it is, and this is pretty much what I advise people to do, is that I had a goal. I knew what I wanted. After my master's, when I moved back to Lagos, I knew that, look, I want to be a brand manager. That was just on my mind. Like if you ask people closest to me, some of my friends, I slept on LinkedIn. And when I say LinkedIn, I wasn't applying to jobs. I was looking at other brand managers. This person started from here. This person has done this. So I literally stopped all the brand managers and marketing managers in Nigeria. And I looked at their journeys and I'm like, okay, so if I want to be a brand manager, it means I have to replicate this person's journey or do something similar. And that's basically what I did. I got a job at an agency. So first thing is obviously have a goal in mind. Second thing, I identified the steps. People say, well, how do I know how to get to where I want to go? Just look for other people that have gotten there. It's easy. So once I identified the steps, then I reached out to my brother-in-law. My sister's husband works at Google. And I said, hey, this is what I want to do. And he's like, oh, start in digital. Digital is big. So I sent my CV to a couple of agencies. He sent my CV to one. And I went for an interview. Very key. Digital was new to me. I didn't know much about digital, just a few bits that I had done during my time as the ACS. Also, during my master's, I had a module on social media. So I was able to just talk up at the interview. I knew that those were the only bits that I had, so I had to focus on those. I prepared for the interview knowing that this is a digital interview. He wants me to have some knowledge and understanding of digital. So I tailored my CV and also my approach to the interview for the role. I went for the interview, I got the offer on the job, on the spot, 60,000 naira only. But
Wow.
I knew, this was in 2012, December 6, 2012. I knew that.
That's a lot of money. As at that time.
Well, some of my friends were earning 300K then.
Wow.
It wasn't a lot of money. It was small at the time. It was very, but I was like, you know what? This company has a vision, and that's what I would like to. Hey, TLC, I would like to advise people to avoid. A lot of people go for big salary company that is really not going anywhere. But this company, 60K is small, but I looked at it that this opportunity that these guys are going to give me. They had told me during my interview that I would work on the Coca-Cola account. That is big. I would pay for Coke to let me work on their brand. And I'm like, eh?
Wow.
They had empty and they had the Tesla. So I just said, this is the right place to be. So the last thing that I'll say is, while I was there, 60K or not, I gave it everything. Like blood, sweat, tears. Like I didn't act like, oh, I'm just a 60K babe. And it was pretty much, he said, my MD had said, this is just like an opportunity to see how you do. It's a 6-month contract. It's an internship. Let's see how you do and see how things go. Almost that 6 months, even though it was like an internship, I worked like though I was a manager. I did presentations for people like Ben Bruce, the owner of Philips Consulting. Like I gave him my all. And I think that's a mistake that many of us make, is that when, it's peanuts, how much are they even paying me, Joe? Well, I'm going home. Let me close my laptop. I gave it everything. Like all my clients knew me. They were impressed with me. And so that little 6 months that I was there exposed me to different clients. I got experience of working on MTN, on Coca-Cola. I think at the time we even did a pitch for Guinness. So that really helped me. And those are the things I was able to put on my LinkedIn. I was able to now brand myself as an agency person that's working on great brands. And it was through that Guinness Nigeria reached out to me, about a year and a half later, to ask me if I was interested in working for them. Just through my
Wow.
in fact, 1 year, 5 months at the agency. Because another mistake we make is we do great work, but nobody knows about it. If nobody knows what you're doing, then you're not doing anything. So I had to, all the great stuff I was doing, I put it out on LinkedIn, and I built my brand around that. And that's how I got my first job at a multinational Guinness.
That's so interesting. So some of the things that I picked from this is that, so it's not really about the, those hard skills. So it was you leveraging those soft skills that you have, like giving it your all, looking out for opportunities, not looking for the money. It wasn't even about your digital marketing, trendiness. So, oh my God, that's great. That's superb. So like, going through your profile on how you manage East and West Africa, because I know that there are two, different places in your current role. So how do you stay creative, managing all these countries, Nigeria, Gambia, Kenya, Ghana, Tanzania, a lot, and then without any clash, and you're creatively delivering to every market, because I know that there are different markets, different people. So how do you, manage to stay creative doing all these people?
Thanks, Dami, for the question. So I actually started that role about 2 months ago on the 1st of July. So I've been in role for 2 months. Yes. So before I was only managing North Africa. So this is a new role. And if I'm being honest with you, I'm still learning. But some of the key things that I've picked in the last couple of months is stakeholder management. Because I'm not in Kenya right now, I'm not in Ghana, I'm not in Mauritius. I need to talk to people there. I think a lot of people don't know how to work with people. So it's knowing where your knowledge starts and where it ends. So if you ask me stuff about what the Mauritian consumer is, I haven't been to Mauritius yet. So I have to rely on my country manager to get some of the insights that I need. Another thing is also, once you liaise with your stakeholders, it's also identifying that the Nigerian consumer is on his own. He's different from the guy in Ghana, the guy in Kenya, Uganda. They're different.
Yes.
So I can't take what I design for Nigeria and just copy and paste. No, I have to tweak some things to make sure it's fit for the Kenyan
market.
consumer or the Tanzanian market. That is the sort of adaptability that we need in the marketing game. Even in Nigeria, today you create a campaign, it works. Tomorrow you replicate it, it doesn't work. So you need to be
Yeah.
ever changing, consuming stuff, talking to the right people, and just knowing that, look, I don't know everything. So I
Yeah.
can learn from other people. Yeah, that's pretty much how I do it.
So adaptability and opening
Absolutely.
yourself up to learning from other people. There's nobody that is beyond teaching you or beneath
Absolutely.
teaching you. Awesome, awesome. So can you share tips on how you've been able to, consistently manage your personal brand and still deliver to your corporate responsibility? Because we know that you run your employee, employmentability. I'm going to enroll for that. I'm just, putting it out there. So I know that you have that, your work there, that's your establishment, and then you have this, your corporate identity and your personal brand on LinkedIn. So how do can you share tips on how you're able to just consistently manage, and you've been consistent on all fronts. So how do you do that? Can you share tips so that we can
I think the first thing is working in 9 to 5 is something that my job, I love my job. Like sometimes when I'm sleeping, I think of an idea, I wake up, I write it down on my phone. And that's
Wow.
the sort of job that I do. I'm not doing a job. I've worked in a call center before. When I was in London, I've done different sorts of jobs. I've done PR, I've done events. What I'm doing right now, I love. I live, breathe, and love brand management. So, but I always knew, look, all these multinationals, they pay well, you travel, you enjoy. But the truth is, there also comes to it, and I want to be honest with everybody. You're going to work for a multinational, which I guess for a lot of corporates is a dream. Multinationals do see seasons of reduced revenue and operating profit. So if your operating profit is shrinking, what happens? What's the quickest way? Is either reduce the amount you spend on advertising and promotions or cut heads. So I've been in companies where we've had 3 seasons of job losses. People have been let go. I've never been let go, thank God. But one of the things I
God.
said to myself, I've seen people in their 50s let go crying the day they were told to leave.
Wow.
I don't want to be in this situation ever. So I've always said to myself, I need to build something beyond the corporate world. What if anything can happen? This is Nigeria. I live in Nigeria. What if all these multinationals pull out? Do you see? So I need to protect myself. And I have interest. I've always been someone that has helped people find jobs. Like I've always been a person from 2012, be writing people's CVs, cover letters, LinkedIn. When somebody says, please send my CV to this person, when I see the CV, I'm like, this CV is not good. Let's do this, that. I've always been that. But I didn't know how to face that. And I've also been someone that's always loved hair. But I decided that my passion for career building, development of other people sort of trumped everything else. And I'm so passionate about it that I decided to pursue it with everything. And so initially, I really struggled. I really struggled with this. But what I decided was, look, is this what you want? Yeah. So some days I go to bed at 4 a.m. Some days I go to bed at 2 a.m. because I'm going to give everything to my workplace. Yes, I have bags under my eyes because I went to bed at 2 a.m. and I had to wake up at 8 this morning to cook before I go to
Wow.
the TCA event. So I think it's just knowing what you want. There's a time to sow and there's a time to reap. Right now I'm sowing, so I may not get my 8 hours and I love to sleep. Oh my god, that's anybody.
Me
I love
too.
my sleep. Jesus. When you're in school, people study overnight. Once it's 10 p.m., I close my book, I go to bed. I don't have to study anymore. I'm not that person. I love my sleep.
Yeah.
But these days, I think it's just been give your all at work. I'm at work from what, maybe 8 a.m. till maybe 7 p.m. and facing my GSK business. And then after that, I switched to empower you mode. And so some of what I've done is that on LinkedIn, I'm all about my corporate business. But on Instagram, I'm all about empowering you. So I separated my platforms. A lot of people still reach out to me about empowering you on LinkedIn. And I'm like, guys, let's connect on Instagram or via email. So it's just separating those two online, but also within my own time allocation. I've separated them. Nothing is going to see GSK. I love GSK, my best job. I love what I do. The two are not going to, you know,
Match, clash.
exactly. They're not going to clash. I had to give my all on both
Wow.
fronts. And that's pretty much what I did. So yes, and let me just say something. A friend of mine knows, not even a friend of mine, all my friends know how much I love TV shows. Like, thank God Game of Thrones has even ended. At the point in time, guys, I need to confess, if you check my platform, TV news, I have a timetable. I have TV timetable. One day, these are my programs. Like, I've added programs to my watch list. There was a time when I had 88 shows I was watching, and I said, you know what, I can't do this. Of course, some will be on season of, and I cut it down to 34.
Wow. Wow.
I don't follow any of my shows or any of those shows right now. I used to download. Fifth me. I will download. I watch it in the morning when I get back from work. That's how dedicated I was. Like that's how I focus. But now there's no time for that. So I don't download anymore. I will just focus it on Netflix when I can, and I'll be working at the same time. But that passion into downloading, watching, I'm sorry to watch trash TV. you know, that has gone. There's no time for that anymore. So let's prioritize. Yeah.
Okay, awesome, awesome. So prioritize and then try to separate, both platforms and give it your all. And then
Absolutely.
recognize your season that, okay, this is the sowing season, the reaping season is going to come. That's fantastic. Thank you so much. So what are the similarities, in all the campaigns that you've worked on? I know that you've worked in Coca-Cola, Guinness, for example. So can you share challenges that you faced, while executing those campaigns?
So I think when I worked on Coke, I worked on Coke on the agency side, and then Guinness, I worked at Guinness. But I think some of the challenges, because I was a digital person then, so I was like a digital brand manager, fully on digital, right?
Yes.
Um, I think some of the big challenges there was proving that digital is worthy of being invested in. So you have brands, because I was a digital advocate, you have brands that have these big budgets, and they're like, please, I'm used to spending money on TV or on billboard. Which one is digital again? No, 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 just take £10,000, small money. And as a digital advocate, it was very difficult convincing brands to invest more time, invest more resource on digital. So I think that was like a big issue then. But at GSK, opposite. Opposite.
Wow.
GSK is big on, when I say big on digital, we're not as big as some of these other brands because of the volume of their budget. But GSK is very forward thinking in terms of seeing that digital is the future. So I think that for me was a major challenge, was okay, justifying why you should spend the money online. But things are changing now, which is really excellent.
So essentially, the challenges that you had faced in Guinness or Coca-Cola, you're not currently facing it right here in GSK. So, but how was that time, how were you able to overcome those challenges then, okay, with the small budget and all? How were you able to work around it? And I'm so sorry, before you answer that, so community members, you can start, putting, your questions in the chat box so that she would answer all your questions. This is an opportunity. Please, let's make it count. Thank you. Yes. So back to my question. So how were you able to, the challenges of the low budget, how were you able to surmount that? How were you able to work with what you had and then still deliver, the best outcome that you possibly could?
My answer to that is measurement. I'm not sure if it comes out when you say most of us here must be in communications, right? And I
Yes.
find that a lot of us don't know how to even measure or justify the work that we've done. That's something I have to learn. I'll give you an example. A couple of years ago when I was in Guinness, we launched Guinness Africa Special, which was, a variant of Guinness, the Guinness brand, mixed with herbs and spices. Very exciting, rooted in the African culture. And we did a couple of events, consumer launch events where you bring, so we did them in Lagos, Port Harcourt, Enugu, Abuja. I traveled around, doing that. And so we needed to get lots and lots of people into the event. So we advertise them. We advertise events on Facebook, Instagram, SMS, all of these things, TV, billboard, blah, blah, blah. So you know what I said? I said, guys, you know what? At every event, I took my own iPad. I had like an Apple iPad. My mom had 2 tablets, 3 of them. I took them to events and I created a survey on QuickTime, asking people, hey, your age, how did you hear about the event? That was just it. I just wanted to confirm that you're over
Wow.
18 and how you heard about the event. I used my own skills for you. I even
Wow.
paid for the software for this. And I said, just give me 3 ushers. These are your iPads. Everybody that works in this store, I need you to find out how they get to the
Wow.
event. And
Wow.
we saw that, for example, in Abuja, SMS did not work. But Instagram drove people to the event in Abuja.
Wow.
In Port Harcourt, SMS was big. Lots of people that came to the SMS platform. And then I showed
Wow.
the results after. I said, can you see the digital that you use? Look at what I'm doing. So
Wow.
look at, and then people are like, wow, this is amazing. You know, I put together a report. And in fact, the marketing manager then should have come and present the report to the one marketing team. It was that
Wow.
significant. So sometimes, you know you're doing good, but you can't even, you can't even tell how much good you're doing because you're not measuring. So create avenues to measure and justify your work.
That's so important. Create avenues to measure and justify your work.
Yeah.
Wow, 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 wow. Amazing, amazing. So what advice would you give, comes professionals on how to position themselves for opportunities? And especially, this multinational. Me, self, I want to work in a multinational. Yes.
Okay, someone said they find it difficult to hear me.
So
Is it
yeah,
better
yeah.
now? Harrison, is it better? Please confirm before I go on.
Please confirm.
And somebody says, same here too. Is it better now? Please let me know. You said it's not. Okay,
Wow.
let me try headphones. Sorry, guys. Just a minute. Hi, is it any better?
I think so.
Okay. I hope it is so that I can carry on. All right. So,
Is it better now? I think so. Okay.
Okay. Harrison, Etty, Nancy, we good. Just give us a nudge. We just like to make the sound and stuff, so I can go ahead.
Okay. Please confirm.
Said unfortunately not. Okay. Oni
Somebody
said
said yes.
yes. My volume is actually on the high, and I'm shouting. Somebody said I think it's worse.
Gosh.
Somebody says yes,
Wow.
not perfectly. Perhaps
It
location
might be
challenge.
location. It might be location.
Okay, so it might be your network because a couple of
Yeah.
people have said. So I will try. I'm really shouting in the house, but I will try as much as possible to project my voice even more.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks for the feedback, guys. So your question was how do we position ourselves for these career-defining opportunities?
Yes. Especially at this time.
Okay. So if you don't mind, I'd like to just share a quick case study. In fact, two quick case studies.
Yes, please.
I will try to compress it as much as possible, but I just thought it would help just see the steps that we're taking. Okay. So the first case study is myself. I don't like to use theory. When I talk or when I speak, I don't use things from the internet, step one, step two. I like to use real practical experience as opposed to theory. Okay. So the first case study I wanted to share with myself. So guys, as a summary, you know what I already said. Med school, didn't get the grade, eventually switched to comms.
Yes.
So I studied PR as a master's degree and I shuttled down to Lagos and my goal was get a job in PR. And my brother-in-law said, no, don't do PR, go for, I'm sorry, Danny, is it possible to mute yourself just for this period? There's quite some background noise. Okay, great, thank you so much. Okay, so my brother-in-law said, look, digital is the future, you want to go into digital. So I applied to the agency, like you know. Now, when I applied, I went for the interview, did my research, all of that stuff. Now, I want to share something that happened. When I got the job offer, he said it was a 6 month contract. And I think he felt bad about the 60K. So he said, don't worry, it's a 6 month contract, you review your performance, blah, 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 after 6 months. So, you know what I did? When it was 5 months, I set a meeting with my boss, the MD. I said, it's now been 5 months, my 6 months is coming up, and I have other opportunities. I'd like to know, what your thoughts are about where I am in the business. I've enjoyed my time here. I've learned so much. It's an exciting. I would like to know what the next step is for me. I didn't wait for 6 months, 5 months before. So the point I want to make here is there were other people that had joined the business that had this same condition, 6 months, 3 months, they didn't do anything, they waited. Let me be honest with you, they waited and nothing happened. But I took the bull by its horns and I went to have that discussion. From that time, my engineer, this girl is not a normal girl. She's going to, if I say X, she's going to hold me by that X. So he said, okay, no problem, excellent. We like the work that you've done, and we're going to make you an associate account manager. And I said, I'm associate account manager. I said, but I've been acting like an account manager for the last 6 months. I've done everything. And he said, you know what, it's true. But because I was serving, he said, because you're serving, you can't make that change yet. Once you're done serving, you will make the change. So right now, you can become an associate account manager. After 6 months, nobody else had done it in the company. And it's not because they couldn't. It's because they didn't ask. They didn't take it by force. I went there and I demanded. I said, look, I know the value I'm adding. Let's talk. And my salary was doubled. All right. Now, remember what he said, though? He said, we're not making an account manager because of NYSC. Now, NYSC ended 4 months later, 3 months after. So, NYSC didn't end in 4 months. So, when it was 3 months, I went up to him and I said, Oga, 1 month to my NYSC finishes. What is the plan for me? I need to know so I can make my own decision. I sent meeting invites. We are professionals here. I didn't just go and stand by his desk. And then we had the conversation, like, you know what, Grace? I mean, he could not even, there's nothing he could say. He said, okay, account manager, no problem. We start from, so immediately your NYSC finishes. Again, my salary was doubled. So I moved from earning 60, earning 247 in the space of 10 months, from December to October, all because I asked. Other people in that same company made the same mistake, even before and after me. So some people I gave the advice to, I said, if you told you 6 months, don't decide on stay, they didn't. So one thing that I want to say is that even as you're stepping up the ladder, there will be conditions that, oh, do this for 6 months, let's see, do this for 5 months. A lot of people get stuck because they don't ask. If they say you're going to do something for 6 months, hold the person, first of all, get it in writing, get it on paper, and hold your manager by that. Okay? Now, the next thing that I'll say is, it was a small company, I wasn't earning much, but I made sure that any project that came into the business that was worth anything, I had to be involved in that project. I didn't care how many projects I was managing. MTN new project, I'm volunteering. I'm like, look, I want to be a part of it. I volunteered for almost everything. Why? It is hard work. There were times when I was single. Yes, well, yeah. I was not married. So I was living in my parents' house. Sometimes I'll be in my mom's room till 9 p.m. working on copy, SMS copy, or Facebook copy for my clients. My mom will fall asleep. I'll move, go and sit down with my dad and continue just because I needed somebody awake with me. Was it difficult? Yes. For all of these projects, I worked on projects that won awards. I worked on Cherry Coke. Cherry Coke won Best Campaign of the Year. We came up with a proposal for a Coke, which was Fanta Places. That one Best Use of Digital, first place. So I was always coming up with ideas, sharing with my boss. I know some people, because they're growing their career, and right now they're in a small place, they don't want to share ideas. They're like, no, when I go to my big company, I'll share that idea. When I start my own big company, let me tell you something. Ideas are like spirits. The idea you have now, if you don't execute it today, and not God will give that idea to another person to execute. It's something that I learned. That's why when you are sitting in a meeting and you want to say something and you hesitate, another person will say it before you. You will not say, but I wanted to say it. They will not ask you, why didn't you say it? Ideas are like spirits. So every new idea that I will come up with, usually I get ideas when I'm sleeping or when I'm in the shower. I will write it down and share it with my boss. There's nothing to hold on to. Yes, I may not make millions from it, but I'll earn my salary and I'll earn with respect. And I will earn the ability to execute something that I can proudly put on my CV and on LinkedIn. So while I was at the agency, all I did for 2 years was how can I work on projects that can transform my career? And that's what I did, right? I was also sending out, telling people, oh, I work at this company, do you want to do business with us? I was an ambassador. But also, I was a change agent. When I joined the company, everybody was pretty much on their own. People didn't really get along. And I started stuff like games night. I started going out with the team, you know. So a I was an integral part of the company. I embedded great culture into the company. And those are things that Guinness liked about me was the fact that I was a change agent. You think that, oh, this lady started games like, what's the big deal with games like? Those are things that multinationals want. They want people that can add value to the culture, people that can bring about team bonding, right? And it's on that games night that, in fact, this year, when we went on a company retreat at the night there, usually we get a team bonding company to come and do the team bonding for us. This thing costs millions. I did it this time with two of my colleagues. I said, help me, let's do team bonding. All of this was stuff that I garnered while I was working at the small agency. And I got awards for it. So I think, let me just say in a nutshell, that small place that you're in now, that you live, they're paying you small money. No. Think about the opportunity that the company gives you. Work on those great projects and put them on your LinkedIn. Position. See, there's no point working on a campaign like Share It and you can't brag about it. It's on my LinkedIn. Go and check. This was 2015. 5 years later, it's still there. It is on my CV too today. When I go for interviews, 2020, people still ask me, can you tell me how that share report was? It was a mind-blowing campaign. So work for a company where you can do mind-blowing stuff so that you can brag about it. Volunteer yourself for things, right? And be a change agent. Look at your company. What can I do to change this place? What can I do to make sure that the team works better together? We can get more revenue, drive more profitability, embed yourself in the culture and the values of the company, and watch the results unfold. And those are the results that you put on LinkedIn. Guinness Nigeria results me on LinkedIn. I didn't apply to the company. I didn't apply to that job. They sent me a message on LinkedIn in May 2014, and that's how I started working there. Why did they reach out to me? All the stuff that I was doing at that small company, I put them on my LinkedIn profile, and that was it. So those are my tips. Thank you.
Hi. So thank you so much for those tips. Thank you. Amazing. Volunteer, find opportunities to volunteer, and then share your ideas every time. Be an ambassador of your organization, be a change agent, and then think opportunities and position, yourself. You said you wanted to share 2 case studies, yourself and another. What's the second one? Can everybody hear me? Yes, please. Please don't mute. Please don't mute that. Please don't mute. Please don't mute me.
Okay, excellent. I think you can hear me now, right?
Yes. Thank you.
Excellent. Okay, so the second case study I wanted to share is actually a friend of mine, and this story is so, I don't know, it gives you goosebumps every time. But basically, let me just say in a nutshell. I went to do my NYSC, and I was part of the special CD group. So special CD at the time meant that you could do skills acquisition. So there were a couple of options. You can learn how to sew, learn how to cook, make cocktails, bake. So I said, let me learn how to sew. I don't know why. So I decided to go and join that group. So instead, you know how it is every week, you're supposed to go to the local government for CV. We did not have to do that. We would simply go for a sewing lesson and the woman would sign our card. So you have to go. So I used to go. Now, when I started, there were only 3 of us in the class, myself and 2 other ladies, Cindy and Kelechi. Then the next week I couldn't come. I think I was ill. And then by the third week when I got there, it was a full class. And by that time, because I missed the previous week, they had gone far. Almost they were sewing, they were doing this, cutting. I'm like, what's going on here? I was so behind. And I'm like someone that when I'm nervous, you will see it on my face. I can't, like I'll be shaking, I'll be sweating. And I don't like to be behind. So I was just there. And this lady came up to me and said, you have to do this. She left her work and just kept on helping me. No, come here, do this. I'm like, oh my God, who is this girl? And at the end of the day, when we finished, I said, oh, what's your name? She introduced herself. I'm like, okay, so, how are you getting good? So they were just take your bus. I'm like, oh, I can drop you at home because I, came with a car. So I said, okay, I said, don't wait, just drop me here by fan. From fan, it's easier. I can get a bike stay and an Okada. I said, okay. Then the next time, then I started dropping her at home and we became friends. So I asked, I said, what are you doing? Because I was working, remember, I was working at the agency while doing my NYC. So even though I was complaining about the 60K, some people were earning less, so I didn't know. So I'm teaching, I'm doing teacher job. I said, oh, really? How much are they paying? He said, 10,000. I said, I don't understand. What do you mean? She said, 10,000. I said, no, explain this better. I said, 10,000. I said, fair. So that is my salary. I said, 10,000 plus the 19,800. She said, yes. I said, That disturbed me because I realized that was her only source. There's no, my mom is going to give me that. That was her source, 29,800. So I said, okay, what do you think about digital marketing? She said, I don't know much, but it looks interesting. Then, remember I said we were working on code and we had a project with Fanta, and Fanta is for children 8 to 11, 12 to 15, and we needed some research. So I convinced my boss that, look, I've got someone, she's got children we can use in her class, you can do some research, let's get her on board as an intern, and they got her on board. They got her as an intern, 25K, and she was so happy. And today, okay, let me summarize. We became really good friends, good friends. And when I got married, she was one of my bridesmaids, the best of friends, actually. And from there, at the agency, she became, when I even left the agency, she became like one of the right-hand men of the AD. When Coke had Coke Studio, they would always fly her out to Kenya for 13 weeks. 13 weeks to be part of Coke Studio. I flew to Kenya to go and stay with her before for a week. When she was working on Coke Studio, she got a lot of experience. She's fully immersed herself in digital marketing. All of the things that I said, go and negotiate through this. And today, the brand manager for one of the biggest multinationals in Nigeria. Earning 30K is a thing of the past. More than times 20 of that today. And it started because she offered a helping hand. If she never spoke to me to come and help me during the sewing day, today I may not even know her name. There are many people in that sewing class that I can't remember their faces, their names. But she decided to help me. And because of that, I felt I owed her a debt of dropping her at home and taking an interest in her life because I did not understand how somebody would stop their own classwork to help me. And not only that, she saw that, okay, this lady seems to be somebody that is getting on in the agency. Let me listen to her. She took a lot of the advice that I gave her. She was bold. And today, she's standing on her own. She's a woman of repute in the marketing and communications industry.
Wow.
So I learned something from that. See where you can help people. And you never know what will happen.
That's amazing. That's amazing. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for that. So always look for ways to help other people because you don't know where it might take you. Oh my God, that's such an inspiring tips that I won't forget for a long, long time. So somebody is asking that what sums up brand management for you? Is it a team? Is it a team role? Yeah, so the person is saying, is it a single or a team job role? What are the possible? Okay, I think we should take it one by one. So what sums up brand management? Is it a single or a team job role? Somebody wants to know. Sunday wants to know.
Okay, so let's imagine this is a bottle of Guinness. This is a stress ball. So it's a pint of Guinness, stress pint. So a brand manager or brand management is basically the science of developing this product for the consumer, right? First of all, brand management is marketing. Marketing is not going from door to door asking people to buy something. That's called door to
Yeah.
door sales.
Selling.
So in banks, what they call marketing is not marketing. Let me explain what marketing is. Marketing is basically, you know, anticipating, identifying, and satisfying consumer needs at a profit, which is what brand management is.
Yeah.
So what the brand management team does is, okay, I have a Nigerian consumer. I have 200 million Nigerians, and I work in a beer company. People that drink beer are typically males, 18 to 45. What kind of beer do they want? Let me do some research to understand. What kind of beer do they want? I want to do something new. Oh, they want beer that has herbs, spices, and roots. Okay, let me create a nice beer. So they work with the supply team to develop a nice product that the consumer would like to taste. Then they now say, okay, if I design this beer, how will I make sure that when they see the beer, it's attractive? So we also design the packaging, the colors, the bottle, the shape of the bottle. I work on toothpaste now, everything to make sure that this is something that the consumer wants to pick up. So the first thing is basically product design, the concept, the packaging, the liquid, everything that goes into the product. So we work with people from supply chain, from the factory to design that. Now you have a product. How do I make sure people are aware of the product? So brand management involves developing TV, radio, digital billboards so that when people are going on the road, when they're in their cars, they're listening to the radio, when they're in front of their TVs, they know and they hear about the product. And we designed the message in a way that, I need to grab this pint of beer or this Apple phone or whatever. That's what the brand manager does, right? Now, on top of that, remember, marketing, you are anticipating, identifying, and satisfying at a profit. On top of that, the brand manager's job is to make sure that this product is delivering a suitable profit to the business. So it means that as a brand manager, I have to be clear. How much am I going to sell this product for? So that it's good enough for the consumer to pick it up. It's not too expensive, or it's not too cheap that they say, which kind of substandard product is this? But also something that delivers profit for my business. So we work on the pricing. Also the placement, right? So you won't see a product like Sensodyne in Malam shop. So we work on it. Where should the product be? We also work on the product, like the outlook. When you go into the store, I'm sure you see Coca-Cola, they got really big displays. So we work on that to make sure that when you get into the store, you've not come to buy Coke. When you see Coke, you're like, oh, okay, this looks interesting. Even the promotions, buy to get one free. Those are tactics to get you into the franchise. So working on those promotions, working on the profit and loss of your brand as well. And also, even after you launch this, the business will say, okay, what next? Are you going to launch a smaller pack or a bigger pack or something with another flavor? So innovation is also part of what brand managers do. And of course, consumer events, you want to be close to your consumer. So you may need to organize events where you can launch your product or where you can get consumers come and enjoy your brand. Just ensure that you are driving top of mind awareness. So brand management is actually managing, you're like the MD of your brand. You're managing everything, end to end of your brand, everything. So depending on the size of your brand, you might have some brands where it's just one brand manager.
Yeah.
And you report to an MD. For example, my brand Sensodyne, I'm a marketing manager, but I have an assistant under me, so there's two of us. But when I was in Guinness, a brand like Guinness had 5 people working on it. Yes.
Wow.
One marketing manager, 2 senior brand managers, 2 assistant brand managers.
Wow.
So it depends on the share work. There are some brands that have so many extensions. For example, you can have Guinness Foreign Extra Stout. You can have Guinness Extra Smooth, Guinness Africa Special. Sensodyne. You have Sensodyne Rapid Action, Deep Clean, Extra
Yes.
Fresh. So in some businesses, they'll just focus on one, the lead. But in some businesses, they activate every single variant. So you need somebody that's working on Africa Special, someone that's working on this, maybe Coke Zero, Diet Coke, and somebody that works on new products. So it depends on the business. But what I'll just say about brand management is that it's very exciting. You work on exciting campaigns. But it's also very, if you don't like maths, you will not enjoy brand management because you do a lot of profit
Really?
and loss. Maths is my work. I work on Excel every single day. Every day I work on Excel. But you're going to do profit and loss statements. You're going to do forecast analysis, forecast scenarios. We do lots of scenarios. I'm launching some products in November. My boss said, okay, if we do 20% discount, what will we get? If we do it this way, so you might get like 8 different ideas, and you need to do the math for each of those scenarios and see which one puts you in the best position. So maths is very key.
Wow. Wow. So that means that, your knowledge and background in science is coming in very, very handy at the
Yeah.
end of the day. That's awesome. So the person is asking that, so what are the possible, roadblocks that you face in brand management, and what are the ways of translating them into successes?
What are the possible roadblocks and ways translating them into success? Okay, so roadblocks. I'm not sure I would say roadblocks. Okay, so let me look at it this way. Getting into brand management is difficult because if you look at Nigeria, how many multinationals are there? Some people open small shops, they say they are hiring brand manager. That's not real brand management, okay? So we're talking about real brand management. How many companies are there? How many opportunities are there? Quite a few, maybe 200, less than 200 opportunities. So it's difficult to get into because there's a certain number of businesses and brands and opportunities available, right? So
Yeah.
how do you get in? I think it's doing stuff that is similar already. So I just broke down what brand management is: TV,
Yes.
radio, advertising, promotions, profit and loss, innovation. So I think one way to overcome it is go and work for marketing agencies that give you that experience. With that, because nobody wants to hire somebody that they will start teaching and teaching. Nobody has time for that. So they
Okay.
want somebody that will be hired and just get into the job, get into the role straight away. So you need to prove that you can do the job. And
Yeah.
that proof is by working on some of the relevant roles within agencies. Now, I think a roadblock, so that's the main roadblock is getting in. Now, once you get in, I think the main roadblocks, which I will call challenges, will have to do with politics of the organization and also stakeholders. And when I say politics of the organization, what I mean is that, for example, you want to run TV for your brand, but somebody believes that no, TV will not work. It's billboard
Wow.
because the person has whatever, maybe different policies. I'm just saying from different people that I've spoken to, there might be hidden agendas because brand management is also a very big business in terms of the value of spending it. So there can be a lot of funny business that goes on behind the scenes that you are not even aware of. So that is also something to be conscious about. And also, sometimes you know what is good for your market. Because these are multinational companies, you know that your market needs a small pack. Well, the gross margin on a small pack might be 40%. And your global team says, no way, we're not going to do that. But your global team, they're sitting in England or Turkey or America. They don't know, they cannot understand what's happening in Nigeria. That some people don't even have 500 naira. They can't perform it. Because 500 naira is what, a dollar? They don't understand that. So those are some of the roadblocks is convincing your global team, hey, how to see it your way. So you need to know how to present. So people don't know. Let me give an example, guys. These are skills that you need to learn. So people don't know how to present and convince people of stuff. I've been in meetings before where a team member says, I've spoken to them, they said no way. And I enter into that meeting and I talk to, I think I say, this is why, and they say, oh really? You didn't understand that? Let's go ahead. You need to know how to present your case. I want to give you a typical example. Tomorrow, tomorrow Sunday will be 2 weeks since I made a mistake. I went onto my Standard Chartered app and I wanted to try an experiment. I have a dollar account with Standard Chartered, I have a Naira account. So I wanted to see if I can transfer Naira to dollar. I don't know who gave me such a stupid idea. So I tried, and I did not try with small money. I wanted to get $1,400 from Naira. So I did it. And it was from me, I got a success message. I said, yay, so I can change Naira to dollars. This is amazing. I'm going to be changing all my salary to dollars. And as soon as that happened, I got an alert and I realized that my Naira balance had increased and my dollar balance had reduced. So And the rate that they gave me was 385. I was even happy. I said, hey, I'm changing naira at 385. But guess what? It was the opposite. They changed, I didn't realize, they changed my dollars into naira at 385. Meanwhile, the rate is like 500. So I lost like 140K. Immediately, I wrote to Standard Chartered. I wrote them 3 emails. They didn't respond. So this week, in fact, I called. Some people said it's not possible. I spoke to people at GTB. They said it's not possible. They're not going to reverse the transaction. I told them it was a mistake. They said there's no way they'll reverse the transaction from dollar. That is not possible. I wrote them a simple email. I told them, I said, look, I wrote you 3 emails. You not had the decency or the courtesy to respond. No problem. That if I don't get a response by Friday, I will close both my accounts, withdraw all my money back into GTB. And I listed 3 plans that I had with that I was going to 3 things I was going to do with Standard Chartered, and I said these things will be happening. I look forward to receiving a response. This was on Wednesday. They responded to me within an hour, and I got the money reversed yesterday. Okay, so these are things that have happened. People don't know how to present their case. And that's what happens in the workplace as well. You are fighting with your global, you don't need to fight with your global team. These are things, I've seen it happen. Just present your case. There's a way a man will talk to a woman that she cannot say no. And there's a way you talk to your global team that they will not be able to say no. Do you understand? Just last week, I had some things that my global team had said no to. I just carried some video evidence, moved some things. I itemized it and I put it in email and I sent it to them. They responded and said, fine, go ahead. So those are some of the roadblocks you see. Global team, local team, always clashing. I don't clash in a global team because they see that this lady is always coming with that. So that's one thing you need to do. You need to educate them. They don't know. They're not wicked people. They're not trying to stifle your creativity, but they just don't know. So you need to be able to educate and deliver a convincing piece for them to be won over to your side.
Thank you so much for that. Wow, amazing. I particularly love the Standard Chartered story. I'm going to, get more tips on how to do that. That's so amazing. So somebody here is saying that she has been trying to get into, a multinational, and then it has not been, easy. So she's asking that how can she, fully utilize her time at a smaller organization. So in terms of performance and delivery, on our way to getting, the job of our choice in a multinational.
All right. So I have to ask some difficult questions. I'm a very straightforward person. I don't mess about. There are different types of small companies. There are small companies where you're not doing anything. When I say anything, you're not doing anything meaningful. When I work with people to optimize their LinkedIn, I ask them what are your key achievements, and they say, what products have you worked on? I'm not really working on any project. If you're sitting in a small business, so that doesn't give you the opportunity to do groundbreaking work in the workplace, you will probably not get a job at a multinational. No.
Wow.
That's just the truth. Multinationals are places that are hard to get into. When I was applying to uni, the rate, I think it was 1 in 10 success rate for the uni I was applying to, the uni that I went to. Multinationals are like that. It's even worse. When I was in Guinness and we did graduate training program, 20,000 people applied. Okay? And 20 were hired. Yes. So that is 1 in 1,000. So if you're one in 1,000 and you're in a company where you're not doing anything, trust me, you don't even need to bother applying. So what are the projects that you're doing in that company? Are they good things? Are they groundbreaking things? Okay, she says yes. Yeah. You're always doing good work. So the first thing is, are you multinational material? Based on what you're doing at the company, yes. Do they know you are multinational material? That is where the disconnect usually comes. And what I mean by this is, if I check in fact, I'm going to check your LinkedIn now. If I check your LinkedIn, it's only her first name that's there. Are you happy for me to check your LinkedIn? Can you privately send me your name and surname, and I'll check your LinkedIn? A lot of people don't know this, but in the last 1 year, the sort of companies that have reached out to me on LinkedIn, I'll give you examples. Fan, Coca-Cola, Samsung, what's this company? Danone, Jumia, lots and lots of multinationals have reached out to me on LinkedIn. And guess what? There were no vacancies published. No vacancies publicized. So you know how you see an iceberg poking out of the water, but you're like, this small thing, how could it sink the Titanic? Because there's a lot more under the water.
Underneath.
That is how multinationals recruit. Very little vacancies available for you to see with the naked eye. The rest of it done through head hunting. That's where people get it wrong. They think I haven't applied in the last GSK. There was no vacancy for GSK. No, there wasn't. They were head hunting, right? Most of the jobs that I have reached out to me, SAB Miller has reached out. Not too many companies. I didn't see any vacancy. None. Head hunting. Right? I've received great offers from multinationals in the last 2 years. None of them were publicly advertised vacancies. So what does that mean for you? It means that the recruiter is going on LinkedIn and they're looking for what? Brand manager. They'll just search brand manager. These are people that come up. If your CV does not hit the mark, you will not come up. Marketing manager. So let me just say one more thing. About 2 months ago, 2 months ago, I saw a job on LinkedIn, right? And I just said, no, let me even see what company this is. There's a recruitment agency. And I applied by mistake. And 2 days later, I got an invitation from the company for an interview. At the bottom of the email, I saw that LinkedIn sent the company a message saying, we have a candidate that fits all your requirements.
Wow.
So I realized that when companies are looking for people, they put in a certain criteria. So your LinkedIn profile will be assessed versus that criteria. So if you don't meet all the requirements, then you're filtered out. So Shaliwa, I think that is probably what is happening. Is your point is that, first of all, is your LinkedIn top notch such that companies can reach out to you, such that companies are like, begging. How many views are you getting on LinkedIn? How many search appearances? Every week I get over 2,000 views on LinkedIn because I've taken my LinkedIn to a level where you cannot go. I probably get more views on LinkedIn than on Instagram, right? Every week consistently I get at least 500 search appearances. Did it start that way? No. I started from 0, 2, 5, 10. But I've taken my LinkedIn to a place where now, when multinationals are looking, they can find me. So that's the mistake that we make. We apply. Get about 30 per week. You need to go times 10. You need to take your LinkedIn to the next level where you are coming up. Companies are actively searching and you're coming up. So that is my tip. Work on your LinkedIn. LinkedIn is like, for me, is the most powerful tool. I'm not most powerful tool.
Wow.
Yeah.
I've not even started. Wow. I have a long way to go. That's so amazing. Thank you so much, Fiyin. Thank you. Thank you, and thank you for your time. Thank you. We really appreciate. Thank you so much for all your amazing tips. I mean, I will never forget, work on your LinkedIn, offer helping and be a change agent and, embed great culture wherever you work, share ideas with your boss, find opportunities to volunteer. Oh my God, this is amazing. So, can we connect with you on LinkedIn?
Yeah, sure thing. My name is Fiyin Toyo.
Awesome. So we'll do that. Thank you very much. Thank you for attending, everybody. You can, if you're not part of our community, you can be a part of our community, for more learning experience and meeting cool, amazing people like Fiyin. So you need to come and join TCA so that you would not miss these opportunities. We have been so blessed by you today, Fiyin. Thank you so much for being a blessing. And yes, like I said, I would reach out to you personally, for that employ you. Thank you so much. Thank you for your time. We really appreciate it. We do not take you for granted. God bless you.
Hi, Fiyin.
Thank you.
Hey, Damilola. Thank you.
Oh, hi, doing.
Hi, Fiyin. Thank you so much for your time. We really appreciate that you spent this afternoon with us and all the tips you shared. Really exceptional. And I just wanted to share with everybody on the call that please let's take this point that she made about LinkedIn. You know that we've been talking about LinkedIn now for months. Those of you that are on the mentoring program, part of your assignments was actually to also optimize your LinkedIn profile. So please let us take those tips very seriously. It's great to hear them over and over, but it's more important that we apply them. Okay. So thank you again, Fiyin. We're grateful.
Thank you so much for having me.
Fiyin's platform is Empower You. Empower You. Thank you very much. So you can check her out. You know, she's online. She has a strong presence, and I would definitely connect. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Thank you.
You too. Thank you so much. Cheers. Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Cheers. Bye.